What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Spider-Man PS4 video. So today, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. I know a lot of new things happened while I was sick. But, like I said, I'm back now. I want to talk about some of those things and, you know, just kind of go over some of my thoughts, what I think about, like, boss fights, what I think about some of the extra footage we saw, the tokens. There are going to be tokens in the game, the upgrade system, I really want to talk about that, and air tricks. So let's start with boss fights and the Kingpin boss fight. Now, it is pretty visually stimulating to watch. Like when I'm watching this fight, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like him just like going up against Kingpin knocking him into buildings and throwing him around. And I've also heard some people say like, oh, Kingpin shouldn't be able to do that. And I was going back through some comics and I was looking at some things and I was like, yeah, he kind of can do stuff like that. I mean, mostly again because of his size. So, you know, he jokes about that stuff, Spider-Man, but he literally means it. Like this guy's pretty heavy. And he hits pretty hard. So yeah, that's not a big issue for me as far as him like throwing him into buildings or anything like that. That's fine. Fine by me. That's actually pretty cool. Now as far as the boss fight itself, I am kind of one of those people who's noticing that, you know, the boss fight seems to be a little, I don't want to say the word weak, but not as strong as, like, for example, older boss fights in Spider-Man games were. Like, you know, like how you'd have different, I know there will be stages to the Kingpin boss fight. Obviously, you'll be fighting around in the building, and the building will be like, parts of it will be collapsing and stuff. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna have a lot of crazy cool stuff like that. But, you know, I don't want it to be like, okay, web him up, web strike, punchy punch, run away. You know what I mean? Like that's something I don't want. Which, you know, I think a lot of people don't want that. They don't want it to be as simple as that. Like, I think the best Kingpin boss fight was Spider-Man 3. I think this one can beat that, but hopefully there's, again, more layers to that. But, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, I think the extra layers of the fight will make it better. But, like, hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's not super stale. Hopefully, like, for example, the Shocker boss fight, I know that looked a little stale. It honestly looked a little, you know, web sling around, grab something, throw it at Shocker, beat him up, and then back up and start web slinging again. That can be a little repetitive, and that can be annoying. Do I think all the best boss fights will be like that? No. I actually just heard, I don't want to say rumors, but I heard things like, you know, Scorpion and Rhino will be like a boss fight, meaning like they both will team up against you, like at the same time. And that's what I've been wanting. I've been wanting something like that, where it's like you're fighting two at the same time, or you're fighting all six of them at the same time, where they're just coming at you from the sky, from the ground, like you're not safe anywhere. So it's what I'm hearing sounds good. What I'm seeing sounds good. So hopefully we get boss fights like crazy cool like that. And I know people were talking about, oh, what about the subway boss fight with Mr. Negative? Like, that should be amazing. Right. I agree. That one should be awesome. But yeah, I think the boss fights, especially the Kingpin boss fight, is good. Like, it's like looking at it is good. Like, it looks good. I think it's just because we haven't seen the rest of the layers of the fight yet. So maybe I will hold off full judgment until I actually play it. But, you know, I am a little concerned about the boss fights, honestly. Okay, so let's talk about some of the footage I saw. So, basically, I got to see the first 15, 20 minutes. So, I got to see Spider-Man, like, wake up, get dressed, you know, I got to see all this stuff on his walls. Like, it looked awesome. It looked pretty cool. Honestly, when I was watching this footage, I was thinking to myself, like, it's cool, but, you know, it's not super great. But, like, it does, you know, it is cool to see him have, like, little mementos and things like that of, like, the past and stuff like that. I'm just hoping some of that comes into play in the actual story. You know what I mean? But moving on, like I said, Spider-Man's first mission is to take down Kingpin. That's literally the first mission of the game. He comes in and Yuri's there, all the cops are there. It's just firefight right now. It's a firefight between the cops and the Kingpin's men. Spider-Man goes in, he's webbing everybody up. There's this one cool scene, I love it so much, of when, like, the cops were not really, like, the cops were dirty, like, they were dirty cops, and then they were going to shoot Spider-Man. Spider-Man does this backflip and then grabs the thug's gun, webs it back, and throws it back in his face. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then you're, like, fighting them, which is kind of cool. It's like fighting the cops now. I always like that in superhero stories where maybe the cops misunderstood you and now you're fighting the cops or something like that. Like, I think Batman did that, Batman Arkham Origins, where you're fighting the cops now. I always liked stuff like that because it's like, they don't really know what's going on, or they're dirty cops or whatever, but you gotta take them down because it's the right thing to do. It sucks, but it's the right thing to do. But that was one of my favorite scenes. And then, like I said, it gets to the point where it's the boss fight, and then you get to see Spider-Man web up a turret, web it off, throw it back at the guy, and breaks the glass that Kingpin's hiding behind. I don't know why he's hiding behind that, but it's whatever. And then again, the boss fight, and he's knocking him into walls and stuff, and that's pretty much all I got to really see, and then, of course, he goes to jail. So, it looks great. It looks good. Like I said, I hope it plays just as good as it looks. That's just my thing. Alright, so let's talk about tokens and gear and stuff like that, because there's going to be like little components and gear and tokens and stuff you can collect throughout the city. And these tokens can be used to upgrade your abilities. And I will talk about those abilities when I get to the upgrade system, but right now I just want to focus on what these essentially do. So these tokens you can get by doing missions, you can get by doing random events, you can get them by finding collectibles, you can get them by finding the backpacks. There's a few other things, I'm sure, but just things like that. And you can use these components also that you get from missions to, I guess, craft suits, and then you need certain pieces of suits in order to make certain suits. So it sounds interesting. I hope it's not too complicated. I don't think it will be. Like, for example, when I first played God of War was at first complicated, but after my second playthrough, it became kind of easier to understand it. And honestly, even before I got to the end of the game when I first played it, it was pretty simple to figure it out. I don't think it will be too complicated, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not too hard to get the Raimi suit. Come on, we are getting that suit. When I play the game, we are getting that suit. We will do a video on that suit. Even if I beat the game, you can bet your ass I'm coming back to just web sling around with that suit on. But we still don't really know how many suits there are. I heard there's about over 25 suits, roughly. Sounds cool. Again, comic book ones, some ones that Insomniac made. It sounds great. Sounds good. I can't wait to see them. Okay, so let's talk about the upgrade system. So the upgrade system consists of 3 stats. You got Defender, you got Innovator, and you got Web Slinger. Defender works on basically your combat skills. Innovator is more, I believe it's like improvising air tricks, stuff like that. Or stealth attacks and things like that. Web Slinger consists of, casual web slinging tricks and stuff, flips and stuff. So I am a little like, what the heck? It's a little small. Like you only got 3 slots. You got Defender, you got Innovator, and you got Web Slinger. 3? I don't know. Like, I feel like they could have maybe. I'm sure it will look more expanded. I think one of my favorite upgrade systems. What was one of my favorite upgrade systems in Spider-Man? I'm trying to think of a Spider-Man game. I really like Spider-Man 2's, but I'm trying to think of one that was not so complicated. Like the Amazing Spider-Man games, their upgrade system was pretty stylized. There's a lot of Spider-Man games. Then you had Edge of Time and Web of Shadows. Those were pretty good because they had different Spider-Men and stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, let's just make sure there's, well, what am I saying? This is what we're getting in the final game. It's fine. Like, I think that the upgrade system is fine. Like, I think the upgrades will be useful. I think there will be some cool things. I actually heard they added a charge jump. So if you press and hold R2 and then you press X, you can, and then you release X, you can do like a supercharged jump like in Spider-Man 2. So that's cool. That's interesting. That seemed like a last minute thing they added in, so hopefully the game don't glitch on me. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing. And this is the thing that I actually was a little concerned with. Let's talk about air tricks. So basically how air tricks works is you press and hold, when you're in the air, you press and hold triangle, and then you press circle while moving the analog stick. That's weird, because in older Spider-Man games, you just press X. I can see where they're trying to add more variety into, maybe you want to do a certain trick that's super cool, or maybe you want to, experiment with moving Spidey around in the air. Like, I can see where that is, but it's like, press and hold triangle and press circle and move the analog stick. It seems a little complicated, but I'm sure once we play the game, it'll be okay. But other than that, there's not really a lot to talk about. I guess, they're really marketing the game heavily now. Like, we're seeing, like, new trailers. We got a new story trailer, which was, like, a minute long. And then we got, like, a big thing with Jonah that was, like, 2 minutes long. I don't know if I like what they did with Jonah, JJ. It's a little... Like, I don't like how he just hates Spider-Man. I always liked that he hated Spider-Man for, like, a good reason. Like, it kind of feels... With this JJ, it seems kind of forced. And I know I'm starting to nitpick with the character here, but it's like... I don't know. And then you have that conversation with Peter and JJ, and then it's like... It's like, he doesn't recognize your voice, you know what I mean? Like... Because he changes his name. He's like, this is Peter Patterson. Like, he just makes up a name. And it's like, really? Like, JJ didn't know it was you? I don't know. Again, he used to work at the Daily Bugle, and now he doesn't. So it's, I don't know. I'm kind of a little confused. But maybe when I play the game, it'll make sense. But hopefully JJ is not a complete dick the whole time. And hopefully, maybe I get to save JJ, like old time's sake. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Alright then, that's it, just my thoughts on some things that I didn't get to really touch on as much. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff, that's it then. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.